Hi everyone, it's Ashley. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I am super excited. I have a few more fall crafts tonight. Let me tell you, I have been like so inspired by fall. You have no idea. So I just want to start this video by saying, please pardon my voice in this video. Everyone in my home is currently sick or getting over being sick, so I apologize. My voice sounds a little strange tonight, but that is what is going on in this house. So let's go ahead and set our blanks to the side. I cut out all of our designs that we're going to use today. So we are just going to kind of focus on crafting. I am going to show you guys in Design Space kind of what I did, how I went through things, so you can find that at the end of my video. And I wonder, like, how are you guys liking that? Like, I know everybody doesn't need a Design Space tutorial and not everybody wants to watch that. So that's what I had someone suggest, like, you know, kind of putting then a timestamp and then like kind of making it where if you want to watch it, you can. But at the same time, if you don't need it, you don't have to watch it. So how are you guys liking that? Should I put the Design Space part first? Like, I know logically it makes sense to put it first, but I don't know. I feel like people just kind of like to get into the crafting first. And then it's like, after you see what I make, if you kind of have questions about how to make it, you can watch the Design Space part and see kind of the steps I took or my reasoning for certain things. Now, I don't know if that's the best way to go about it, but that was just my reasoning. But you guys, please let me know if I should put it in the beginning, if I should put it where it is fine. I personally, I just love to watch crafting videos, and I don't know, they're just so relaxing to me. And I literally will just watch someone craft and like listen to their voice. And I like long videos, you know? Like, I'll literally lay in bed, like everybody's asleep, and I will watch crafting videos, and they are just so relaxing to me. So for me, I personally don't mind. I feel like even if I, you know, pretty much know how to do something in Design Space, I feel like when I take the time to watch someone design in Design Space, I usually can learn something from them, right? So I'm just gonna bring in a pair of scissors. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of trim off what I've already weeded, just because this is a larger design and I don't want to ruin it by having that vinyl fall back on itself. So I'm just gonna kind of trim that so I can focus on what I need to get weeded next. Like I said, this is a larger design, and let me tell you, I am not the best at, not really the best at larger designs. They just kind of get like really overwhelming for me really quickly, but I do still do them. I still challenge myself to try. Sometimes they do not come out well. Other times I surprise myself and they come out really well. You know, I just try. I always tell myself, you know, the worst that happens is I get so frustrated, I decide not to make the sign at all. So, and I mean, that has happened before. So this is a large design, but it is still a fairly delicate design. And this is Oracle 651. So it's like, this is just the best vinyl. So I know that if I'm kind of having an issue with it laying down, it's just because it's just so delicate and it weeds really, really nicely. So it's just these pieces, even though it's a larger design, are still so tiny. So just being really careful. Okay. And then once again, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, just because I am sure that I have all of the pieces from that line. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off. Just kind of, this got really wonky here. So I'm just kind of straightening this back out. the best I can. It doesn't need to be perfect. But I'll just kind of try to get that to lay back down. I did kind of stretch it out a little bit when I didn't notice that it wasn't coming up. But that's okay. I think that it will blend right in once we get it. And then I do need to put this S back, but I'm not gonna focus on that just yet. I'm gonna focus on kind of the larger picture here and try to get as much of this vinyl away from my design as I can, because for me, that just makes it seem a lot more manageable for me. Once I can kind of see my design and I know that I am getting somewhere, it kind of gives me a fresh set of eyes. So I like to do that first. I like to get as much of this vinyl that I don't need out of here. And then I will go back and kind of work on the small little details that I need to do. So I'm gonna go ahead, pausing again, cut this. So I just suggest if you get to a place where it's like, you know that you have all the pieces for that section, or you just get to a place where your hands are free for a moment, I really suggest going in and just cutting away any vinyl you've already gotten up. That way it doesn't fall back onto your design, okay? For me, that is super helpful. And it's hard to juggle, you know, the vinyl you've already gotten up while you're still trying to get vinyl up. So just make it as easy on yourself as you can, right? So now I have this text here, so I just want to be really mindful of that. This is gonna probably be the most tedious part, so just taking a deep breath. I'm just gonna really focus right now what is in front of me. So after that deep breath I had us all take, I did not breathe again, but I got through that text. Oh my gosh, I held my breath the entire time. Because like I'm just gonna go in and fix this S while I'm here. Something I didn't realize as I watched other crafters is really like, for me at least, I didn't put together that like, you know, I really am crafting like in real time here and I'm filming it, right? So it's like, if something doesn't go right, I either can edit it out or, you know, I have to like scrap the video, you know, which I put a lot of time and resources into my videos. So, you know, even like in one of my last videos, I'm redoing the sign today, the long sign from the Dollar Tree, and like it just did not come out how I wanted it to. I was not happy with it, but it was like one of the last crafts in my video. And, you know, I didn't want to edit it out because I wanted to show that like, trust me, it happens to me all the time that I cut something and I think it's going to be so cute in my head, and then I put it on and it is just not what I thought it was gonna be, right? Like just the vision that I had is not what I got. So like I wanted to leave it in for that reason. Oh my gosh, I got that A, but let me tell you, that A is like so delicate and that A is like on its last life. I am so scared that like if I move this thing one more time, it is just gonna like fall to pieces. So that is the final answer. That is exactly where that A is staying. That is now its home. It will never move again, hopefully. Very, 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 very carefully grabbing the rest of my insides. We still have to weed the rest of my outer piece, but I wanted to get that text done because I was there and I was already kind of in the mode of being like really careful and dealing with the text. So I wanted to just kind of knock that out. Let's continue kind of where we left off here. We are almost there, so I definitely do not want to lose things now. We are doing a great job so far. So I just want to be really, really careful. I don't want to lose all of my hard work at the end. That is heartbreaking. I think we're in the finish. We are in the, what do they call it? Like, we're almost done. We're at the home stretch here. So now I'm just going in. I have to get the middle of these leaves because it is just the outline, which I think is so pretty. And I love, like, that's the problem though. It's like, I love these delicate designs. I just think they're so pretty and they're kind of like more my style, but oh my gosh, they're so hard to weed sometimes. But let me tell you, if you like do a trickier design like this, you know, and you really have to work at it, like, I don't know, for me, it makes me love that piece so much more. Like, I just know how much time I put into weeding those little letters, and let me tell you, it just makes me that much more grateful. And I'm like, yes, I made that. This is going to be so worth it. And honestly, it's really not bad. The Cricut cut it amazingly. The vinyl itself is weeding amazingly. It's just the nature of the design. It is just a very, very delicate design, which is absolutely what drew me to it. So that is just the nature of picking a design that is like this. You know, going into it, it is going to take more time to weed. You're going to have to be more patient and just go a little slower. But to me, I think the extra time that you put into it, if you like the design, is always worth it, you know. And again, one of my main reasons for crafting is, you know, to slow down and to remember that I can do things just because I like to do them. I can do things just because I want to do them. You know, I don't need a reason. It doesn't need to make the most sense. It doesn't need to be the most time efficient or cost efficient. And I can just do it because it's pretty and I like it. So bringing back in my blank. So this is actually, if you watch this video, you see me make this sign in another one of my videos. I just painted the inside of it a green color. I put this monogram on it. I love it. I use this part of the sign where it looks like it has a frame around my monogram. So what I did was I just turned it over, and all of my wood pieces today, besides the pumpkins, I just took some Waverly Antique Wax and water. I just mixed it together and got it to a consistency that I liked, and then I just applied a coat to my wood blanks and let them dry overnight. So that is all I did for all of my blanks. Now, if you watched my video, I think this is going to be right before this one. I used this piece of transfer tape for my wood round that I just did. And I said in that video that I would not recommend probably using this again, just because it has paint on it and wood debris, and it's probably not going to be as sticky as you're going to need for most projects. But it turns out this is going to be the perfect project to use it on. So I think that this is going to be just fine, because I do not need a super strong hold for this. I think it's going to lay down pretty nicely for me. So just going through, I'm going to scrape front and back, and then just turning it over and pulling the carrier sheet away from our vinyl. And we want to leave our vinyl down on that transfer tape. Now, again, this is a reused piece of transfer tape that did have quite a bit of debris on it, so some areas might need some reinforcing. But as you can see, that laid down really, really nicely. So just bringing back in my wood blank here, I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. So let's see, I did make it just a little bit smaller because I did not want it all the way to the edge. And I got my transfer tape a little crooked there, so don't pay too much mind to that. We're gonna focus more on our text and our sentiment, right? So just focusing on that. Let's see, there we go, my blank was a little bit crooked. Okay, so I think just about there looks really nice. I'm gonna bring in my scraper, just kind of starting from the center. I'll go up, down, and then we'll go out to the sides. And then I will just carefully start to peel this up. Just going slow, making sure that my vinyl is laying down nicely. And then any pieces that don't want to lay down, I will just go in with my weeding tool and just kind of press it down, and then just help it to lay down nice to that blank. Being particularly careful around the text. Of course, the last little corner here, but no big deal. I'm gonna bring back in my liner because I have a couple more wood crafts to do, and I think that I can still get a couple more uses out of this. But this is how our first sign came out. What do you think? I think it looks so cute. I love it. And this was a little bit of a labor of love, but I do love how it came out. I really am loving the color that I got on the wood. So I love that. All right, guys, let's move on to our next craft. Bringing in our next little craft, I got these little tags from Hobby Lobby. They were in the Christmas craft section, and they are like labeled Christmas ornaments. So I want to say they were like $3, and then they were 50% off. So I got them for about $1.50 for 4 of them. And I said in that video that I thought that that was a great buy, and I thought it was like a great hack to look for like things in like seasonal, especially at Hobby Lobby, because I feel like a lot of times like in their seasonal section, they have things that can work for any season that are just great blanks, but then you end up getting them 50% off, you know? That is one of my favorite little tricks. So I'm just gonna bring in that same piece of transfer tape, and I'm just gonna cut it down just a little. And then since this is such an old beat up piece of transfer tape, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that to size. I am just gonna lay this over it, burnish those down front and back. If I was using like a newer piece of transfer tape, I would cut it probably to fit like one of the letters, and then I would use that one piece to do all 3 letters. But because this piece of transfer tape needs to be used and needs to be thrown away, I will just go ahead and do them all at once here. And then just cutting them apart. what I did was I took that same antique wax and water mixture, and I just put a little bit on the wood round in the middle, and then I put it on the back. And then I left the little beads that are around the frame, I left those in the natural wood that it came in. And I just think it came out so cute. And my idea for this is to use these as napkin like placeholders for Thanksgiving. So I thought this would be really cute to put like on our napkins. As just little like place setters. So I thought this would be super cute for that. I'm just gonna line these up. I don't think that I'm gonna keep the hanger at the top, but I'm not sure. So I'm not going to cut it off just yet because I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it. So for now, I will leave the hanger on, and I will just kind of try to get my initial as lined up with that hanger as I can. And then I'm just gonna use my finger because it is a very, very small area here. And I can't quite get my scraper in there. So I'll just kind of use my finger. There we go, and there's our first one. So I have a capital A, that is for myself. And then we have a lowercase a, that is for my daughter. So we will just bring one in for her. Again, just lining it up to the top, just in case I do end up leaving the hanger on. It is lined up and I don't have to then worry about moving it. All right, there's my second one for my daughter. And then last but not least is a W for my hubby. And his is like, I knew that I sized his because I wanted his to be the largest. And I knew that I was pushing it on the sizing for his. And I think that I got it just a hair too wide. But it's fine. It kind of just set right down in there. It is a little squished on the little like embellishments on the side. I'll show you in just a second. But that is no problem. It still came out super cute. And I intentionally wanted his letter to be the largest. So I think that came out so cute. And like I said, I'm gonna use this as our little like place setting, our little placeholder slash napkin ring for Thanksgiving. I do have one extra because we are only a family of 3 for the time being. So I will either keep this one to the side, or honestly, I'll probably use it as a gift tag, maybe for Christmas. What a cute little personalized place setting. I mean, oh, I love them. All right, guys, let's do our next craft. Now, I feel like we've all seen this pumpkin. They come in a 2-pack from Target, I think for $5. And I know everybody's seen it. I absolutely love them. I think they're such a great buy for $5. They're so substantial, and there's just a million things you could do with these. Last year, I painted them. You can apply vinyl. You can do, like, the sky is literally the limit. So I went ahead and taped this off because I wasn't sure. I thought I was gonna paint it. But as I was going through my stash, I found this piece of vinyl that I got at Hobby Lobby, and it was reduced to 74 cents. And I actually got this, I think I showed it in my Hobby Lobby haul because I got this really recently. So I showed that in this haul, and when I saw it, I immediately knew that I had to use it for this. Okay, so my idea for this is you're gonna want to put it with your vinyl face down and then your pumpkin face down on top of it, because I used to do that a lot when I was first starting out, and it would always be backwards, and I never understood why, but now I do. So I'm just gonna kind of mark what line I want to cut on, because I do want to save as much of this vinyl as I can because I think it is super pretty. So let's set this to the side for just a moment. I'll just bring in a pair of scissors. You could absolutely have your Cricut go in and cut out a square for you if you measured. But I think by the time you do that, it is definitely much quicker to just cut it out yourself. And then just double checking that it is, I always do this, like, I'm so cheap. It's like I cut it so close because I want to save as much vinyl as I can, but then I cut it so close that I give myself a heart attack every time, and I don't know why I do it to myself, but anywho. So I'm just going to start in a corner here because I'm not going to need the corner. So I'm just going to start there, and I'm going to just grab it and get that vinyl started. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and peel it up. Bringing my pumpkin in, I'm just going to, I'm going to set this down actually. Let's move this out of the way. I'll tell you what, I'm going to set this down. I think this is going to be the way to do it, right? I'm going to set this down, and then I'm going to then put my pumpkin over it because I can kind of hover it here and it's not like trying to cling up. So I'm just going to bring it down to the sides. So that looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lay that down. Perfect. I'm gonna bring in my brayer tool and just kind of really get that down just so when I go to cut it, hopefully it doesn't give me too much of a problem. So flipping it back over, I'm gonna bring in my little cutting mat from the Dollar Tree. And then also my Cricut True Control knife. And then I'm just gonna simply go around and cut out my pumpkin. So it is a little hard for me to see just the way the camera's set up. So it's hard for me to see around that pumpkin, but I'm just going to very carefully go around. This vinyl is very thin, so it is not gonna take much with that knife. So you really can just kind of go very lightly around. It is not going to take a lot of pressure at all to cut this vinyl, okay? So that first cut, I was giving it way too much pressure. So now just going through, I know that I barely can just score it even, and it's just going to cut right through like butter. So that is super nice. As you're cutting, you'll learn, right? And you'll kind of feel it out, and you'll be like, okay. Because giving it too much pressure, if it doesn't need it, is going to give you just as much problems as not giving it enough pressure. See our first go around and how we did. Oh my goodness. So far I am loving it. Oh my gosh. So good. Okay, so this is after our first go around there. It looks pretty good. I'm loving it, but I do need to clean up a couple parts here. So I'm just gonna go around and just cut off these little pieces. And like I said, this vinyl is so thin, which for this kind of project is actually like perfect. This vinyl is so perfect for this project. So if you happen to find this vinyl at Hobby Lobby on clearance and you picked it up, or if you go and you see it, oh my gosh, you probably need it. I'm just gonna say you probably need it because it is beautiful and it is perfect for this kind of project. I'm gonna go ahead and I want to pull up this painter's tape. And like I said, I only put the painter's tape because I thought that I was going to paint this, and then I decided not to. So I'm just gonna kind of come in with my True Control knife. I can kind of see where that painter's tape is, and I just cut a nice seam there. How cute is this? Okay, let me clean up and let me put this knife away because the last thing I need to do is wielding a knife around my craft room. Let me tell you. Oh my gosh, guys, I absolutely love it. I wonder, I'm wondering, should I have left the stem? Should I do the stem? The stem looks a little weird to me. What do you guys think? I think I'm either gonna paint it white or maybe stain it. I'm not getting enough contrast with the stem, but other than that, oh my gosh. I don't know though, because when you see it from the side, I do think it is cute. Oh man, I love this vinyl on this though. And I love this for fall. I don't know if you guys can see, but it has like these really pretty like pink. It has a very like marigold. It has a lot of blue that I love. It has like a green. And we're actually going to, speaking of green, we're actually going to pair our other pumpkin because it comes in a 2-pack. So my other pumpkin is going to have, I cut a little bit of vinyl to go on my other pumpkin here. And then I will display these as a set. And I thought that this would just look so nice together. If you guys watched my last fall video, I believe, I told you about this vinyl that I ordered. I absolutely love the color. It is called Olive. But last time I had a little bit trouble weeding it, so I'm gonna see if this time if it's any better. So far it seems to be about the same, but let's see. So I'm super happy with the way it weeded this time. It weeded way better, but I will say that this is a much less intricate design. But my next design that I have with this color is pretty intricate. So I feel like that will be the true test. But I mean, for this like larger scale cut where it didn't have to do a lot of small cuts, it weeded very nicely. So I'm just going in, there are a few little cuts in it just to give it some detail. So just grabbing those. That looks like all of them. I just had to monogram something. I thought this would be really cute together. So I'm just gonna bring in that same piece of old transfer tape, cutting off another piece to fit this. Just gonna place that over our design. And then I will scrape it front and back. Peeling my carrier sheet away. And then I'm just gonna bring this in, trying to get it as centered as I can. Then I also wanna just try to get it as straight as I can. The stem is obviously a little like off-centered, and it has like a little character to it, which I love, but I do want my M to be centered, right? So that looks just about good to me. I think that looks so cute. So I will just go ahead and burnish this down. And there we go. What do you think? Oh my goodness, I love it. I think it's so cute. I have to tell you, I love, oops, I have some vinyl on my finger, but I have to tell you, I love this color. It is really, it's not coming up, I would say, like true to tone on camera. It's coming off a little more like lime green, but it is like more, definitely like a darker, more muted green. And I think that these came out so cute. I love them together. And I love to just have one where it's like, you know, in the background and it's just more of a pattern and then kind of more of a statement one on top. So I think that these came out so cute. Let's move on to our next craft. Next two little crafts are just gonna be really quick. So this one here is just a little magnet for my office. I made one of these in my last video. I like to keep them on my refrigerator. I also have a couple in my office that I just use to like hang up paperwork with. And I thought it would be super cute. When I saw this, I thought, yes. because, you know, sometimes I need a reminder to go make myself a nice cup of pumpkin flavored coffee. It is that time of year, and to get back to work, right? I'm just gonna bring in that same piece of transfer tape. I think we could probably use it to get this down. I'll just burnish that front and back. And then I'll just bring this in, and I did size it to go this way. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I could put it this way too if I want, but I think that I do like this way better. So I'm just gonna kind of just line this up, get it as centered as I can. Or I also could do it like here. I could do it like offset. Yeah, for sure. I like that better. So that looks perfect. How cute, I love it. And I shared in one of my last videos that these are one of my favorite things to pick up from the Dollar Tree, and I just put them over seasonally for what I want them for. So I think that's super cute. And then also in one of my last videos, I showed you guys this sign, and let me tell you, I went to go weed it on this color and it did not go well. I lost a lot of my design and I was not happy with it. So I wanted to test again this color, but I also wanted to see if it was the design itself or the color or what. So I went in, I obviously was gonna have to do the sign over. I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't gonna put it up in my home like that. So I knew that it was gonna have to be redone, or at least have to add more to it and kind of finish it off. But I just took off the vinyl that I put on and I repainted it. I also decided to paint the top and sides this time. Last time I had them bare, but this time I did decide to paint them just because I think with the color, just the all white will give it a lot more pop and a lot more contrast, and that's what I'm really looking for with this sign. So I decided to go ahead and paint it. So I'm just gonna go in and collect all my middles. I will probably speed this up and put some music. All right, guys, so that honestly wasn't that bad. Yeah, it weeded pretty nicely. So not bad at all. I'm really happy with that. I wouldn't say it was as easy as like 651, but it definitely was not as tedious as it was the first time. And I think that I made this design a little bit bigger than the first time, so that probably helped. But I am super happy with this final. And like I said in my last video, I think I just needed to kind of learn. Last time I used it in the video was the first time I'd ever used it. So I think I just needed to kind of figure out how to use it and make my design a little bit bigger. So I think those two things really helped. So I was thinking of just placing this right kind of in the center of my sign. Still using that piece of transfer tape that needs to be thrown away. And I think that looks just about good. I think that looks really cute actually. So I'll just burnish it down, nothing crazy. This transfer tape doesn't have a lot of tack left anyways, so I'm not too concerned, but. And then carefully grab a corner here. And then I'm just going to carefully pull this up. Definitely don't want to go too fast here. And look at that, it came out so cute. I love it. It came out so much better than the first time. And this is just gonna sit on our TV area. So I think this is so cute. Jumping into Design Space, I have just brought in a lot of different designs that I am either going to use, I'm going to see how I like, and this little letter here. So these are going to be for my little beaded tags that I am going to use as napkin holders. So I know based on the size, the area that I have to put the vinyl in, I know that I want these to be about 1 inch wide. So I'm just going to go through and make this 1 inch. In this case, the capital A is taller than it is wide. So in that case, I'm going to make the height 1 inch, right? Because I only have 1 inch to work with. So I'm going to make that like that. And then I'm going to hit duplicate. And then just bring in another one. I'm going to double click and I'm going to change this to a little a because this will be for my daughter. So I'm going to do a small a and then I'm going to duplicate this one again and then I'm going to do the W. And also let's see okay, so that's a little W and that's a big W. So I think they're the same. Oh, that looks good to me. So now we have a capital A for myself, a lowercase a for my daughter, and then a W for my husband. So I'm just going to select all of them here and I'm going to change this to white because I am going to be cutting these out of, should I do white? Yeah, I think I'm going to do white. Yeah. So I'm going to cut these out of white. So now I'm going to go ahead and I can hide these for now. And then for my other pumpkin, I was thinking about using this and doing our monogram. So what I wanted to use is I more so want to use this wreath here. So I think that I can go ahead and hit ungroup. That will take these two and make them separate. And then I think that I will just go and delete the monogram that they have there. And then that will just leave me with the wreath. I will make this green because I am going to cut this out of the green, I'm pretty sure. And then I'm going to go to text. And then I'm just going to find a nice font that I want to use for our monogram. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this here. It is called Soiree Lettering Olivia, it looks like. So I'm going to change this to that same green color, and then I'm just going to kind of size this for the inside of my wreath. Let's bring this in just a little so I can see. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to try to center it and look and see what it looks like. So that is centered, and obviously to our eye it's not, right? But to the software it does, I've heard it does from the middle of one image to the middle of the other image. So I'm just going to manually just kind of center this to my eye. So that looks really good to me. I'm going to go ahead and select both, and then I'm going to say attach just so it will cut exactly like this. And then let's see how big I want to make this for my pumpkin. I'm going to say about 4 inches tall. So let's go ahead and change the height to 4, and that looks great. So I will go ahead and hide that. So I really want to make this sign. I think it is so pretty. I am just in love with it. For this design, I was thinking about my 12 by 12 frame that I have. So I'm going to go over to shapes. I'm just going to grab a square and I'm going to make this 12 by 12 because that is the area we have to work with. And I'm just going to make this white. And then I will right click my design, say bring to front, and let's bring this out so we can see. I'm just going to start sizing this for my blank. Now, this is definitely more rectangle in nature than it is square, which for me is okay. Like, I think that that can be really pretty like that. But remember that you can also go up here and unlock it, and you can always kind of stretch your design and manipulate your design. The only thing is you just want to be careful that you don't manipulate it and stretch it so much that it gets distorted, right? So just be careful with that. But just know that you can do that and go in there and play with it and get it to fit and look like you want it to, okay? So I think that that looks really, really nice. So I'm going to size it just like that. I'm going to go ahead and delete my square because it was just for sizing. And then I'm going to cut this out of a white vinyl. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just see what layers we have here. Okay, so that's all great. So I'm just going to select everything, hit attach. That will just make sure that it cuts exactly like this. And then I will say hide. Okay, so now these pumpkins, I was thinking about for my longer sign that I need to redo. So let's see how big I want to make this. My blank space is 11.5 by 2. So let's again grab a shape. I'm going to just go with the rectangle and it is 11.5 by 2. So make this white just so I can see it better. I'll zoom in just one so that way I can get my placement well here. Okay, I'm going to right click, say bring to front, and then let's see if we can get this to fit our blank just a little bit better. So that looks much better to me. Perfect. So I am going to weed this one out of my green vinyl. So I will just make that green. Let's hide that because we are done with it. And then I can delete my shape. And then my last probably little thing that I wanted to do was, so let's bring that to, let's bring it back to 100. So now this is the shape of my magnet. I'm going to go ahead and make this white. And then I thought that this would be so cute because I mean, it is, right? So I think that is sized perfectly and I'm going to cut this out of that green. So let's go ahead and delete that shape. We can hide our design. Let's bring back in our crafts and see what we got done. Well, guys, this is everything. I think that we got so much done tonight, and I am so happy with how everything came out. I am absolutely over the moon with this vinyl. I am so glad that I kind of gave it another shot and took a little more patience with it, and I am loving the color. I have to say though, I think my favorite craft of the night are our family place settings. I just think these came out so cute and I am loving the tone of the wood that I got with the Waverly Antique Wax against that natural beaded look. I am just really happy with those. So guys, thank you so much for joining me in crafting tonight. I hope that you enjoyed what I brought to my craft table. Once again, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching me bring my ideas to life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.